But a great mentor gives you confidence, not false confidence that everything's going to be easy. In fact, everything's going to be hard, but real confidence that you can face hard things and overcome hard things in pursuit of something bigger than yourself. That's what Coach Lynn gave me. He gave me confidence to imagine a different future for myself. He helped me form the kind of leadership I would need later at West Point and in combat and in business and in public service. And years later, when I was deployed to Iraq during the Gulf War, I wrote him a letter. I wrote Coach Lynn a letter just to tell him what a difference he had made for me. I'm grateful I did. He passed away not long after. And his son told me that that letter had meant the world to him. I expect that for most of you, when I say the word mentor, you think about some older person with gray hair, someone like my high school football coach. But I want to impress upon you that a good mentor does not need to have a fancy title or be older than you. Some of my greatest mentors have been my peers, folks you'll never read about or hear about in a newspaper. And so as you continue your journey, I challenge you to seek out mentors. Find people you trust enough to tell you the truth. Find people whose values you admire. Find people who are committed to your growth and your success. My guess is some of the people you've met this week at Keystone Boys State. Find people who give you confidence, not false confidence that everything will be easy, but real confidence you can face hard things and become stronger because of them. Overcoming hard things makes you stronger and better. And thank them. Thank those mentors for what they did. Thank your parents for what they did to help you become who you are. And then pass it forward. Become a mentor to someone else. Finally, I want to leave you with one additional challenge, but it's a really important thing. Stay positive. Stay strong. Make a difference in this world. You're blessed to live in the greatest country in the world. You are the 1% of the 1% that grew up in America and has all that America has to offer. But you got to avoid the four horsemen of decline and despair. I see them every day in politics. They are the indicators of a society in need of renewal, in need of your positive leadership. And they'll seek to thwart you, slow you down, dampen your enthusiasm and your hope. The four horsemen of decline are cynicism, the belief that big problems can't be solved. They can be solved. They just need leaders to confront them. Incrementalism. Think small because you're afraid of failure instead of thinking big about what you can do for your country. Pettiness. An unwillingness to let others have credit. An unwillingness to work together as a team because you're worried about the credit for yourself. And finally, divisiveness. Opposing policies simply because they are proposed by someone on the other side, as opposed to focusing on what's best for your community, your company, your unit. Reject these things in your life. They're infectious, and they're increasingly in vogue in Washington and across the country. Look beyond the temptations of the four horsemen of this decline and despair. We must reject them if Pennsylvania and our nation are to remain, as President Reagan called, and I remember when he made this speech, America, the shining city on a hill. We are that shining city on a hill. If George Washington was here today and was trying to imagine what America would look like 250 years later, he would have been in awe of the amazing country that sits before us. But it's a fragile country. It'll only be that way if all of you, this next generation, do your part to keep it that way. We are the greatest country in the world. We must remain so, but it depends on you. Thank you. It's a great honor to be with you today. Thank you, sir.
At this time, Legionnaire Legionnaire Troy Michaels is the American Legion Department of Pennsylvania Assistant Adjutant and one of the driving forces of our Legion programs. It gives me great pleasure to introduce to you our Assistant Adjutant of the largest department in the national organization, Troy Michaels.
Good morning. Welcome to the 2026 Keystone Boys State graduation ceremony. Congratulations to all of the citizens of 2026 KBS for completing, as the brochure said, a week that shapes a lifetime, and reaching the graduation stage here today. Reaching the graduation stage of KBS shows that you have the courage and the commitment to be our future leaders. Over the course of the last week, you have learned how local county, state, and government work. And I certainly hope that you take this knowledge and, as the senator said, continue to progress this nation forward, knowing that this is the 250th anniversary of this nation. No matter what your future endeavors are, I certainly wish you well in all those endeavors. Next, I want to say thank you to the parents of these citizens here today. Thank you for allowing our staff and counselors for teaching your citizen to become leaders of tomorrow. We appreciate all of your support, getting them ready to attend this week-long course, driving them here today, being here supporting them and watching your citizen graduate today, and everything that you have done to help shape them up to this point. They've had an exhausting week, and I'm sure that many of them will have stories to tell about their experiences over the last week. To my fellow Legionnaires, our KBS staff, counselors, and volunteers, I appreciate the hard work that each and every single one of you put into making this program successful. Before I finish my remarks, I want to make sure that the department officers on stage are recognized. If you are a department officer, please stand to be recognized. Thank you. I appreciate your dedication to this exceptional program, and it would be impossible to hold this program without each and every one of you. In closing, again, I want to say thank you for your attendance here at this program. May God bless each and every one of you, and safe travels home. Thank you.
Next, we'll have Commander Patrick Love. Commander Love was elected department commander at our department convention in July of 2026. Pat was born in Philadelphia to Jack and Anna Faye Love, the second of 4 boys and 1 girl. Growing up in a close-knit family, Patrick's father, a Korean War veteran and commander of American Legion Post 738, played a pivot role in shaping Patrick's sense and duty and community involvement. In the 1960s and early 1970s, Patrick was an active member of the American Legion Sons, following in his father's footsteps. After graduation, he enlisted in the United States Marine Corps, completing boot camp at Parris Island. Pat served as an audio-visual expert, working for the basic school in Quantico and later for the G3 training department while stationed in Camp Lejeune. After leaving the Marine Corps, Pat's career journey took several paths. He worked as a security officer for the bicentennial celebration and served as a night supervisor for security at Frankfurt Torresdale Hospital. In his next role, Pat worked as a merchandiser for Thrift Drugs, where he met his wife, Joanne. The couple went on to get married and have spent 45 lovely years together. Pat's commitment to service did not end there. He joined the City of Philadelphia Civil Service as a communications technician, eventually rising to the position of the City Communications Chief before retiring. All his life, Pat has been deeply involved in the American Legion. Over his 38 years of membership, he has held every position at his local post, including several terms as post commander. He later moved into the district, serving as a sergeant of arms, and eventually became the district commander from 2015 to 2017. 2017-18, he was elected county commander for Philadelphia before being elected department commander. Pat was the Eastern Vice Commander of Pennsylvania. Family is always at the heart of Patrick's life. He and Joanne raised 2 children, Pat Jr., a Philadelphia police officer married to Dana, a nurse at Temple Hospital in Philadelphia, with 3 daughters, Kenda, Lilania, and Brielle, and Elizabeth, who graduated from LaSalle University and worked as a social member before becoming a stay-at-home mom to Isabel. They call her Izzy, and her brother, Miles. Elizabeth is engaged to Tom Higgins at the infrastructure manager for Northeast Building Products. I introduce you to our department commander, Pat Love.
Wow, that made me sound really important. But I'm not as important as these men here to your left and to your right, these counselors and these mentors. So let me start my speech so we can get this over with. All these guys here are just waiting to go home. So distinguished guests, dedicated staff, proud parents, and above all, the newly elected leaders and citizens of Keystone, Boise State, welcome. When you arrived on campus, you were a group of talented, ambitious high school students. And today, as you graduate, you are statesmen, you are mayors, you're legislators, you're informed citizens. You have spent the last week actively participating in a working simulation of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. You have debated, you've compromised, you've learned firsthand that democracy is not a spectator sport. It requires hard work, active participation, and most of all, integrity. The American Legion proudly sponsors Keystone, Boise State, because we believe that the future of our republic depends entirely on the investment and education of its youth. We have 4 foundational pillars: Veterans Affairs, National Security, Americanism, and Children and Youth. Through this program, we focus on Americanism, not just as a concept of pride, but as a daily practice of civic duty and respect. You have spent this week under the Love City banner. Thank you. And other municipal banners learning how the gear of government turns. You have been challenged to see the perspective of others and to work together for the greater good of your fictional communities. You have proven that when bright young minds collaborate, the shape of a lifetime begins to form. But as you pack your bags to head home, I ask you this: what comes next? It's easy to be an engaged citizen in the controlled and supportive environment of Keystone, Boise State. The true test of your character begins tomorrow. It begins when you return to your high schools, your hometowns, and your local communities. The lessons you learned this week: how to listen, how to lead, how to stand for what is right, how to honor the Constitution, and again, how to listen, must travel with you. Do not let the experience end with this graduation ceremony. Take this momentum and apply it to your senior year and beyond. Register to vote the moment you turn 18. Volunteer in your local municipalities. Respect the veterans who secured the freedom that allowed you to engage in this political process. Always remember the guiding principle of the American Legion: honor, duty, patriotism, and fellowship. When you are faced with difficult choices in your life, let these values be your compass. So on behalf of the American Legion Department of Pennsylvania, congratulations to every single one of you on a phenomenal week. You are incredibly proud of your hard work, and we look forward to the profound difference you will make in the future of our great Commonwealth and our nation. And again, I must thank our director, our chairman, our counselors, our Legion staff, our Legion family, and I also have our Western Vice Commander sitting up here on stage, and she's not just here for the Legion. She's also got family in your midst. So as you go on, may God bless you, God bless your families, and God bless the great state of Pennsylvania. Thank you.
At this time, we'll do the Esprit de Corps Award. The John Hart Esprit de Corps Award is presented each year to the children who, by their constant enthusiasm, full throttle engagement, and comprehensive support for their fellow citizens, does the most to contribute to overall success of their city and the Keystone Boys Day program. The Esprit de Corps Award is not intended to recognize the individual who holds the most important offices, debates the most vigorously, or passes the most pieces of legislation. Rather, the award goes to the individual who most consistently applies themselves to ensuring their fellow citizens achieve success by lifting the morale, the esprit de corps of their state or city. I will now call the detachment commander of the Sons of the American Legion, Mark May, for the presentation of the Esprit de Corps Award. The winner for 2026 John Hart Esprit de Corps Award is John Brunin. The next award we have is the Samson Scholarship. Samson, the South Korean World War electronics leader, endowed in 1996 a scholarship fund of $5 million to be administered by the American Legion. The endowment was to show South Korea's appreciation for the U.S. military veterans who came to South Korea's aid during its struggle against communists forcing in the Korean War. The Samson American Legion Scholarship Program has established a series of scholarships derived from the interest and other income from the principal amount. By the end of this year, the Samson American Legion Scholarship will have awarded, since its inception 26 years ago, a more than $7.2 million in college scholarships to 2,416 participants. The next level of competition, and within the 5 American Legion regions of the United States, where 2 winners and 2 runner-ups were selected from each region. Each of the 10 winners will receive $10,000. Each of the runner-ups will receive $5,000, and the remaining applicants will receive $1,250 each. Commander Love, if you would take center stage, I would be honored to announce Pennsylvania's American Legion Sampson Scholarship winner. The winner of the Sampson Scholarship for 2026 is Braden A. Reynolds. Would you come forward, please?
This is probably one of the close kept secrets we have here, Ken.
And if we could have the following individuals go to the center stage, that would be our Keystone Governor, John Brunand, Keystone 11 Lieutenant Governor, Dean Carl, go to the center, Keystone Senators, Bowden Moraski, and Lincoln Lecmadera. At this time, Commander Love will administer the oath to the new elected citizen leaders.
Raise your right hand. State your name where I state mine. I, Patrick Love. I, solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the duties of my office and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of Keystone. I will uphold integrity, serve the people, and work towards positive change, ensuring transparency and accountability in all my actions. Congratulations, son. Again, congratulations one more time. I'm sure the first sergeant is very proud of you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce the new senior leadership of the great state of Keystone. At this time, we'll have Senator Bowden Moraski. If you want to address you can all come over and have a seat.
Hello all, Keystone citizens, counselors, parents, Legion members, and all else. I'm going to try my best to keep this speech relatively short. I also found out about it at around 10 p.m. last night, so it will probably be pretty short. Last night, I met with my city of Minto City to give a final speech. Along with talking about how proud I am of all of them, how much I love all of my fellow city members, our plans to donate the remainder of our budget to a certain foreign nation. I also wanted to talk about one thing, about failure. I think that probably everybody in this room has heard about a million platitudes about how important failure is for succeeding. Thomas Edison famously said, quote, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Henry Ford also said, "Failure is simply the opportunity to begin again, this time more intelligently." I was lastly going to do another quote from our counselor Andrew, but when we discussed, he couldn't come up with one, so just pretend I had a really good one here. But I want to be more precise about why I think failure is valuable and why I think that it best represents this program. You see, one thing that I really appreciated about KBS was that it pushed each and every one of us to put ourselves out there more. And for a lot of us, this led to significant success. And for a lot of us, this also led, perhaps for all of us, this also led to some significant failures. But by doing this, I think that we all grew tremendously. And when I look back, I realize that I've learned so much more and grown so much as a leader, as a man, as a peer, and as somebody who plans to continue to serve others through my failure. Failing to keep my city together always as governor, which if you've seen us information, you know, definitely happened once or twice. Losing a gubernatorial race against my great friend for many years, John Brunitz. Being late to formation this morning today. When I looked at all of these, I realized that it was these moments where I noticed where I went wrong. And it was these moments where I resolved, or at least updated, what I plan to do in the future. Not when I found out that I was selected as a Boys Nation delegate, not when I was elected mayor, and certainly not whenever I actually showed up on time to formation. But I also think that failure is more important for us sitting in these front rows here, as citizens, because we have one thing that not everybody else has, and that's a baseline. You see, we're at a stage in our lives where we don't need a stable income, where we have a house and, hopefully, loving parents for us to fall back on, where the decisions that we make will not be held against us, again, don't make too bad of decisions, for the rest of our lives. And this allows us to take risks that we can't otherwise. And this is something that I've aimed to do. Throughout my high school career, and especially throughout this week, I've begun to realize that I'm in a honeymoon phase of my life. I have the responsibility and the knowledge and the opportunities to take risks, to grow, and to try my best to do awesome things. But I also have this baseline to fall back upon, where failure doesn't put me out of the game entirely. And so, if I'm able to give any advice, being really the same age as all of you, I would push you all to fail more, to run for more opportunities that you don't think you're going to get, to do things, or at least try things, that you don't think could ever happen. Because it won't be that way for long. Soon, we'll need a salary to keep us going. The risks that we take could lead to us becoming homeless or not supporting our families. We're in a rare stage of our lives, and at least I think that it'd be unfortunate if I wasn't able to take advantage of it. So, looking back at what I've said and looking forward to the future, I'm thinking of one thing. Advice that's probably a platitude at this point, but that I try to keep close, even if I don't follow it perfectly, which is, one should live to minimize regret. To when we're on our deathbeds, or at least in 10 years, looking back, to say that we were proud of the decisions that we made, whether they went well, horribly, or anywhere in between. And I think that we should take every opportunity that we're given to grow, to serve each other, and to do something to build a more perfect union among ourselves, for this nation, and for the world as a whole. So thank you all so much for pushing me to grow, even if I did make mistakes at times. Thank you so much to our counselors and for our Legion members for the advice that I will hold dear and that will affect me for the rest of my life. And thank you so much to the parents and everyone else in attendance today for coming here to support us men, or boys, or wherever we are in life, who I truly hope have grown with me. Thank you all so much.
Next, we'll have Lincoln Laquadera. You're not a senator, right?
Yes,
No. Oh, I'm big up.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Before I start my remarks, I would like to just look into the camera. None of my family could be here today, so I just want to say hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. Hi, Mia. I love you guys. I hope you guys are watching. So, I will begin my remarks now. My name is Lincoln Laquadera. I originally hailed from Minto City, where Bowdoin was my mayor. However, I strayed into the media department here at Keystone Boys State, and I'm so glad that I did. Through our media program, Keystone TV, otherwise abbreviated to KTV, we have brought joy to all of the citizens every single day, except for yesterday, at roughly 7 p.m. after dinner. We'd all gather in the chapel on campus, we'd put the screen down, and with a few technical issues, we would watch an episode of Keystone TV, and many people said it would be the highlight of our day. Today, I wanted to focus a few of my remarks on what makes us great Americans. President Joe Biden once said, "We are America, second to none, and we own the finish line." I'm going to come back to those remarks at the end of my speech, and you will understand them much better. When we look around today, sometimes the question that we can ask, especially with the rise of artificial intelligence and other technologies, is where do I make a difference? Think about it. A lot of the legislation that we've passed this week, you could have typed into AI and it would have been done in 5 seconds compared to the 10 minutes we spent on it. AI could have produced every single KTV episode we watched. And AI could have just written my speech that I'm giving here today. Side note, I forgot to write it, so I'm making this all up, but I'm going with the punches, all right. However, what can't AI do? I know what AI can't do. AI cannot get out of formation and go up next to the guy who forgot his backpack and do push-ups with him. AI cannot sleep in a room next to somebody you don't know when you get here and become best friends with them. AI cannot run for positions and lose and lose and lose and lose. And most importantly, AI cannot learn from its mistakes. That is what makes us great Americans. America can make mistakes sometimes. However, America learns from these mistakes, and that's what makes this the greatest country in the world. If you look to your left and you look to your right, these people sitting next to you, maybe they're a different political party than you. Maybe they look different. Maybe they sound different. Maybe they smell different. However, one thing we all have in common is we are Americans. Think about that. If that's the one thing you take away from this week, we are Americans. I want to come back to that quote one more time from President Joe Biden. We are America, second to none, and we own the finish line. Thank you guys so much.
Next, we'll have the Lieutenant Governor, Dean Corll.
All right, I'm going to kind of keep this short and sweet because I know a lot of you are probably getting tired already, but, whatever. So, good morning, everyone. My name is Dean Corll. I live in northwestern part of Lehigh County, and I am the Lieutenant Governor for the state of Keystone, and I'm also a senator representing Case City. When I first arrived at Boys State, or when we first arrived at Boys State, most of us had thought leadership was about winning elections, giving speeches, or having a title next to our name. After this week, I think we've learned that it's a lot more than just that. Leadership showed up in the little things. It was remembering your water bottle, your bag, and locking your door. It was taking responsibility for your actions and learning from your mistakes. Sometimes learning those lessons meant doing push-ups at Boyer Hall. Sometimes it meant singing "I'm a Little Teapot," or doing the chicken dance in front of your peers. At the time, those moments may not have been our favorites, but they taught us something important. Leaders aren't perfect. They own their mistakes, they learn from them, and move forward. We also learned that change doesn't happen overnight. Anyone who spent their time in the House or Senate knows that passing a bill can take a lot longer than expected. There were debates, amendments, disagreements, and compromises, but that's how government works. Progress takes patience, persistence, and people willing to work together. Even after long days, we still brought energy to our rallies, cheered for our parties, and gave everything we had. Whether you ran for office, served in government, worked behind the scenes, or simply stepped outside of your comfort zone, every one of us contributed to making this week what it was. The truth is, we all came here with leadership experience. That's why we're here. But I can assure you that no one is leaving exactly the same person they were when they first arrived. Every day brought a different lesson, challenge, and perspective. Years from now, we probably won't remember every bill number or every vote count, but what we will remember are the different friendships we built, the people we met, and the lessons we learned. As we leave Keystone Boys State, we should take those lessons and experiences home with us. Not just the lessons about our government, but the lessons about responsibility, service, humility, and leadership. Because leadership isn't just something that ends when this week is over. It's something we should continue every day when we return home to our schools, our towns, and throughout our lives in the future. I want to say final congratulations to the Keystone Boys State class of 2026. Thank you.
Next, we will have the Governor, John Brunin.
Good morning, parents, friends, family members, legionnaires, mentors, counselors, and last, but certainly not least, my fellow citizens of Keystone. My name is John Brunins, and it's my privilege and honor to stand in front of you today as your governor. Frankly, standing up here as a representative of these young men does not feel right to me. Their contributions far outpaced any individual effort, and for me to even attempt to touch on their efforts in the few moments we have here today would be futile. I watched them conquer, adapt, overcome, thrive, struggle, change, fight, and compromise with the people and the world around them. 1 week ago, we arrived here as strangers. We came from different cities, different schools, different backgrounds, different ambitions. The only thing we shared was a willingness to show up. What we did not know then was how the shared commitment to engaging fully would be all we needed to succeed. Over the course of this week, we built something from nothing through these efforts. We constructed governments, drafted legislation, debated ordinances, and held each other accountable to a standard that none of us had been asked to meet before. We ran for office, won, lost, and kept going. We sat in the state capitol, and for the first time, many of us understood what it actually felt like to have a voice that carries weight. That is not something you forget. If I'm being honest, the most important things that happened this week did not happen in any chamber or assembly. They happened in the in-between moments. They happened in a citation that a Keystone police officer gave a counselor, or in watching citizens go running enthusiastically to do the chicken dance, or anything that happened in between. Those moments that revealed who these young men actually are beneath the title, the role, and the responsibility were what mattered. Leadership was the framework of this program, but it was never the destination. What this week has taught us is that leadership is not a position you hold. It is a standard you set in how you carry yourself and how you treat the world around you. Every man in this room has demonstrated that at some point this week, whether he recognizes it or not, I have watched quiet men speak up when it mattered. I have watched competitive men step aside for the good of their city. I have watched young men who came in uncertain leave with conviction about who they are and what they are capable of. That growth is not small. It is the entire point. To the mentors and counselors who made this week possible, you gave us the room to make real decisions and real mistakes. And that is the greatest gift you could have offered us. We learn more from the moments you let us figure out it than any other instruction. From planning months ahead to being involved in our growth, this camp would not be the same without you all. And I know I can speak for all citizens of Keystone when I say thank you for all the hard work you do. I would also like to give a special thanks to the American Legion veterans and community members who sponsored us, cheered for us, and supported us in learning how to effectively serve our great nation. Everybody, please give them a round of applause. To the parents and families in this room, you sent these young men here, and I hope you can see the difference. It may be subtle, it may not fully surface until weeks or months from now, but something shifted this week, and I think you will notice it. Thank you for supporting us along this journey, and I hope we will continue to make you proud. And lastly, to my fellow citizens of Keystone Boys State, I will not stand here and tell you that this week changed your life. That is for you to decide. What I will tell you is that now you carry something that most people our age do not. You have been tested in ways that matter. You have been led, disagreed, compromised, and pushed through when it would have been easier to step back. That experience belongs to you. We came here as individuals. We are leaving as something more. Thank you, and congratulations, gentlemen.
The senators, the two senators up here, they will be attending Boys Nation from July 18th to the 26th on the campus of Washington, D.C. All right. At this time, we have the graduation and presentation of certificates.
Forward march!
The call of K's City. Mayor Harper Sipes. Richard Bellis. Cooper Bentz. Grant Bozovich. Daniel Callie. Thomas Cassis. Theodore Chen. Jack Groff. Nathaniel Hudson. Finley Kearns. Aaron Mathis. Riley McNair. Gunnar Montanaro. Charles Mulholland. Braden Reynolds.
The Call of Love City. Mayor Jason Schoenthal. Fuller Alakispe. Ryan Anderson. Rowan Bailey. Eric Brown. Matthew Bruno. Dakota Kimona. Dylan Carr. Samuel Clark. Cole Clifford. Samuel Hall. Jeremy Hilt. Joseph Lafada. Mark Macklin. Ari Manilov. Dhruv Panchal. Justin Pispiorka. Arya Sathakarthi. Lincoln Wirtz. Cole Williams. William Zizola.
The Call of Malone City. Mayor Carl Fortner. Owen Aki. Liam Carr. Abraham Ferguson. Colin Finnegan. Owen Gallagher. Daniel Gauthier. Noah Gulvis. Colby Hibner. Ashton Hoover.
Abram Luffy. Rowdy Macias. Landon Marsh. Ethan McNair. Thomas Monahan. Colin O'Boyle. Arav Patia. Wesley Rouse. Mateo Saspy. Landon Shaner. Reed Spenek. Sandarsh Suresh Kumar.
The Call of Minto City. Broderick Bond. Dominic Benvenuti. Charlie Bilko. Trent Cunningham. Ewan Guest. Shane Heinzenknecht. Charles Hussa. Maxwell Jung. Abai Kumaran. Jacob Martin. Adam Nielsen. Samuel O. Chase Shanley. Logan Stroop. Jeremy Taylor. Abhiram Vadaguri. Charles Wirtz. Joe Yoshikawa.
The Call of Road City. Mayor Champ Lander. Eric Alderman. Beckett Barton. Max Beck. Joseph Bunty. William Burgum. Thomas Clunan. Ryder Dashu. Max Furman III. Sheeran Kappa. Ricardo Lopez. Holden McKeever. Dennis Mulholland. I'm sorry, I apologize. Connor McManus. Paolo Pension. Dalton Porter. Marcus Sy. Maximilian Wendiker. Merrick Young.
The Call of Stelatio City. Mayor Evan Wagner. Gabriel Ford. Gage Hamburg. Carter Hawkins. Nicholas Hayford. Garrett Haight. Ryder Haran. Gabriel Hudson. Carson Michaels. Peter Nayrog Jr. Andrew Noda Francesco. Eric Pike. Ziad Rahman. Yvonne Rojas Rodriguez. Joshua Schott. Santosh Kumar Senthil Kumar. Anthony Straza. Matthew Swavely. Owen Truscott. Christopher Tunn.
Could we have an applause for all these great citizens? I would like to thank the Wally Keene Jr. Memorial Band for their presence here today, a fitting tribute to the legacy of Wally Keene Jr., our 1939 Keystone Boy State drum major. Nothing beats live music, and I can think of no better way to honor his memory. Thank you. And the citizens, thank you for your attendance, your enthusiasm, your excitement, your intellect, your curiosity, your playful spirit, your teamwork, your curiosity, your spirit of Americanism, and your cooperation. And thank you in advance for the success that lies ahead of you. One day, your grandchildren and their children will look to you for guidance and reassurance that this nation is in your hands will continue to be the greatest on earth. Parents of the citizens, thank you for raising such outstanding sons and entrusting them to our care for a week. You may find that they have changed in some ways. We hope that suits you. We believe they and all those around them will be better for it. Legion family and mentors, thank you for a great week. Thank you for your wisdom, sharing your life experiences with our citizens, and for your willingness to lend a hand whenever and wherever it is needed. For all of you, it has been an honor and a pleasure to have worked with you this year. I look forward to the upcoming years. I must recognize our Keystone Boy State Director, Nelson Malandano. Nelson was elected as director this year, and throughout the year had many phone conferences with our counselors and Legion staff. Nelson keeps us informed of everything going on to have a successful Keystone Boy State for 2026. And finally, the ones who make it all come together and seamlessly, our counselors. Your knowledge, intellect, hard work, and uncanny insight into each of us is a wonder to behold. You are the backbone of this program, and we thank you for everything you do throughout the year. I must take a moment to recognize the gentlemen who work all year with us to make this the best boy state in the country. Our Dean, Bobby Lacy, our Assistant Deans, Adam Moser, Derek Winovich, Alfredo Pratico, Rabbi Patel, and Cole Reagan, and Carl Will. I would also like to recognize 4 individuals who for many years were among the driving forces behind the Keystone Boy State. Past Department Commander Joseph Glazer, who passed away in August 2024. Jock Whedon, who served as director for the past 10 years and passed away in 2025. Joseph Riemel, who served as a consultant for the past 6 years, and before that as director, chairman, and mentor. Involved with Keystone Boy State since the early 2000s. Also passed away in 2025. And finally, E. Mike Stelatio, past department commander and a former KBS chairman, who passed away in 2025 as well. I would now ask that we take a moment of silence in honor of memory. Thank you. I will now have Carl Curtis announce the Honor City of the Week.
Good morning. Parents, first off, thank you for entrusting your loved one with us. I assure you we took good care of them. And when they get home, if they didn't have their room cleaned before they left, they should be going in there, getting their room squared away because they got more discipline and self-discipline now. And if they don't do that, then just call them into the living room and tell them to get on their face and just say, push up, down, and they should say, through pain, up comes discipline. And so don't get alarmed if in the middle of the night you hear them yelling that, because they might be having some type of a nightmare. Many of the parents, as you exited the registration, you heard me give specific instructions. The first instruction was to make sure that when they leave their room, they lock their door, they check their door. If they don't check their door, I will, and then they'll come see me. And 16 of them didn't believe me, and they saw me at the first formation, and they were the first ones to be familiarized with the phrase, through pain comes discipline. However, that seemed to work, because the next day we only had 2, and that was the last door that I found unlocked all week. And I check it several times a day. Honor City is selected each day throughout the week. The cities, the citizens within the cities, they work very hard to try to achieve results and be productive. And we recognize those cities each and every day. Just to familiarize you with the course of the week, their day started at 6 a.m. and it was 11 or 11:30 at night before they were getting in the rack, and so sleep deprivation and fatigue set in really quick. However, they had to persevere, fight through that, and learn to deal, even when they're fatigued, to stay focused and do the things they did, and we made sure of that. With that, as they went to the city each day, on Sunday, they had their first city time, and they elected a mayor who became the leader of the city for the week, and everyone in the city participated in some type of a committee and had responsibility. Tuesday, we split those cities down, the 6 cities down into 2 counties. They began to form the county government, and individuals from the cities got involved, and some was elected into officer positions within their counties. And then the next step was to break the cities down. Half went to the Nationalists, the other half to the Federalists, and they began to conduct and form their parties and conduct the party business. Tuesday, we went to the Capitol. They got to meet with their state representatives, tour the Capitol, and hopefully they come away with some knowledge that they didn't have before and their experience in the Capitol building. Again, each day, an honor city was selected. That honor city had the privilege of getting into their meals, going first at the cafeteria, and eating. And so with that, throughout the course of the week, we comprised who had the most points. The competition was very keen on a daily basis, as it was this week. And so at this time, I will announce the Honor City of the Week. Third place Honor City of the Week was K-City. Give 'em one. Second place Honor City for the week is Love City. Give 'em one. The Honor City exhibited many qualities that we counselors and mentors hope to see out of every citizen. Today, during our observations, we found this city to go above and beyond the other cities consistently throughout the course of the week. Every person carried their weight from start to finish throughout the week. This city was the unsung hero of the week. The city never stopped working together to push forward. Between the economic growth that the city's businesses brought and the reform and restoration that were brought about from the local policies, this city is better than it's ever been. The prosperity of the city carried into the state level as their elected representative championed for a better Keystone through shrewd and effective ordinances. The citizens came together and rallied behind each other, truly embodying the spirit of KBS. One thing is for sure, this city produced leaders. And the Honor City for the week is Minto City. Give them one. If you please excuse me while I address these citizens for the last time, and I'll be brief because they're tired of hearing me talk. Good morning, Keystone. Good morning, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you for taking the time to be voted, coming out here this week. And as I said throughout the course of the week, it doesn't stop here. Foundation has begun before. It's up to you as
As we go on, please rise for the benediction and the retirement of the colors.
I was very short at the beginning. I was told I can take as much time as I want here, but I'm not going to do that. But so that you listen, just shake it out a second. If you'd bow your heads with me. Lord God, I thank you for these young men and for their counselors and mentors this week. We thank you for a successful week. Lord, I ask that you would help them to hold on fast to all that they have learned, that it may root deeply in their hearts, that it would guide them in the days to come. Lord, we ask that wisdom, kindness, and compassion would guard their thoughts and guide their actions. Lord, we do ask that you would teach them leadership, to give loyalty to things that deserve it, to recognize the call of duty when it comes, and the costs that come with it, to give respect to all, to have honor and integrity in all their actions, and to serve with personal courage, not just physical courage, but courage in all their choices and in all situations that they encounter. Lord, we ask that you would give them creativity as they learn leadership, whether it is in their home, in their neighborhood, in their community, or in their city, or this great commonwealth, or this nation. May you lead and guide them. Help them in all things that come in their paths. We thank you and we praise you as we celebrate the conclusion here of Keystone Boys State for this year. Now receive the benediction. The Lord bless you and keep you. Make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. Amen.
thank you. Legionnaires recover. This completes our ceremony. We thank you again for your attendance and wish you a safe return to your homes or the location of your son's next obligation for the upcoming week. Legionnaire Curtis, will you retire the colors?